students and teachers. Tonight's video will highlight two partnerships between FCPS teachers and AAAS volunteers. So let's watch the video.
Today, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about relative density.
Hi, this is me, Casey, listening to my teacher, Miss Overton. She's teaching with Mr. Rambo, who's a real scientist known all over the country for his work in physics.
There are tanks on a submarine that hold water and hold air in them.
Mr. Rambo is a volunteer with the American Association for the Advancement of Science.
So that's how a submarine works.
30 AAAS volunteers have been placed in classrooms across FCPS to help students and teachers learn more about science and STEAM careers.
Did you guess appropriately?
Yeah. The scientists and engineers come to school at least once a week all year long.
So we're going to level this off.
That's much better.
Right?
At Halley Elementary School, second graders are working with a chemical engineer, Kendra Shaluter.
Work better.
They're mixing chemicals together and seeing what happens.
You see how it's changed? Looks different, right?
We made Play-Doh today out of salt, water, and flour. Helps us learning how to be chemical engineers when we grow up.
By the end of the first year of STEAM Lab, kids were coming up to me all the time saying, I want to be an engineer, I want to be an architect, I want to do this, that. So showing them that these skills are not far-fetched, that they're accessible, that making Play-Doh is chemical engineering is very enlightening and empowering for these students.
Back at my school, Miss Overton works with Mr. Rambo before class to set up our lessons.
We can have them weigh these. That'll give them mass.
Okay. In the elementary school, we learn the pedagogy of teaching. You might have one or two classes in science, but that's about all we get. Doug will give me information, and he'll explain it to me.
This guy.
So that guy. And then I will say back to him, so here's what you're telling me, and then I will put it in kid language, things that I know the kids will be able to understand, and that's a great combination.
There's a variety of struggles that I think schools have today to maintain a level of expertise where a kid will walk into class one day and say, Mr. Rambo, what is dark matter? And expect an answer. And that was a third grader, real question. Once we had the conversation of, are we talking about Star Wars? Or are we talking about dark matter, as the scientists are exploring today? We had the conversation and gave him the 3-sentence answer for, this is why dark matter is important, this is what the scientists are doing. And I hope you understand that. And he was satisfied with the answer. It's important to do it the same way for every one of them.
Our physicist has added just tremendous amounts to our classroom experience.
So write down 100.
He can explain to the kids what relevance what we're learning in class has to the real world.
What kind of scientist would be interested in things in water? Okay, marine biologists, oceanographers.
The kids here are always engaged because Doug comes up with, well, hey, did you know that? And then he'll tell them something about how that science is being used in the real world. And all of a sudden they're like, wait, maybe we should learn about electromagnets because you just gave me 5 examples that I see in my regular day-to-day life. Where do you think this cherry tomato is going to land when we put it in the tube? Just find a neighbor.
It's amazing that what I'm learning is actually used in the real world. It makes me want to learn more about it.
Relative density.
Listening to my teacher, Miss Overton. She's teaching with Mr. Rambo, who's a real scientist known all over the country for his work in physics.
There are tanks on a submarine that hold water and hold
I think they thought we wanted to see more. The STEAM project is a collaborative instructional services department team. Our mission includes facilitating relationships with professionals to support authentic, hands-on experiences that will inspire and engage all students. We are excited about the impact that our collaboration with AAAS has had on students, teachers, and in building connections to community members. We look forward to their continued support in our mission of providing authentic learning experiences for students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's so great to bring some of the classroom here into the boardroom. We really appreciate this wonderful job. And I think we have some board members who would like to maybe ask questions and make comments, if that's okay. Ms.
Do you mind
you
if
have-
I invite some of our
yes.
friends? Casey, would you like to join us? Mr. Rambo? Ms. Van?
Did anyone else have something they wanted to say? Or no? Okay, all right. Ms. Darinette Koufax?
Yes, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and I have a comment, and then maybe I'll ask Casey a question. I met members of AAAS at a community event and was so impressed at the work that they do, and I'm so grateful that we have had this spotlight to enlighten everybody. This is an example, Mr. Press, of what you were talking about, this kind of amazing collaborative learning that is out there. Thank you so much to our volunteers. Thank you so much, sir, for volunteering your time and being part of it. You enhance and enrich our curriculum in great ways. Mr. Press also talked about wanting, this is something that we would love in all of our schools because we know how valuable you are, and it's just a matter of being able to do that. But I would like to, Casey, since you talked, just a quick question. What do you like best about this kind of learning? You've stated it a little bit, but.
It's kind of like every time you go in and work with do all the fun experiments, you kind of learn something new that you might not expect to have learned, or figure something out that, you wouldn't think is as important as it really is. And that's
Right.
just fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, proud parents over there, Casey, for sharing him with us tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Schultz, did you have something?
So first of all, I want to know who narrated the video. Okay, so people who've been on the board for a while know that I'm not a fan of videos because I want us to use our money smartly. That was some smart money. That was very wise because you learned some stuff narrating it, didn't you? Was that cool? Was it cool to hear your voice? Did it sound different? It sounded higher. There's probably some scientific explanation for that. Two, I wanted to ask, how did you become a volunteer? Were you originally a parent at the school? Or?
Yes, I have 2 children, but they went through Loudoun County Public Schools. The program advertises its presence in a variety of different forums, and I think I spotted it in the Fairfax section of the Washington Post, and that brought me to Don and the program, and then subsequent to that to Lake Ann and to Mrs. Overton.
So I think any way that we can, because I want a physicist, I want a scientist, any way that we can advertise and reach out, we have lots of very interesting buildings where interesting stuff happens all around our county. And some of that has to be, I think, proactive to bring them into the schools. And then at some point, I'd love to come and have an experience in one of these schools, especially if you teach how you get bridges built, because I've always been fascinated how they get the pilings. That's always been a fascination of mine. But anyway, I want to thank you personally for dedicating your time, because you've gone above and beyond. You're not currently a parent in our system, and reaching out through either academic associations, professional associations, to get and populate more of you throughout the system would be a gem.
We'll take you up on your offer to publicize the program further. I think with very little publicity, we've managed to get quite a few volunteers into the school, and I think with a little bit of help, that number could grow.
Great. Mr. Press?
Thank you. I think this just really is a testament to the wonderful human capital we have in our county. I think that when we can capitalize on that and bring it in to our schools and use that to benefit our students, as Casey so articulately and wonderfully shared, and that is so impressive that you're able to come up here, because I remember I came up here for the first time and I was dead scared. I could not do it. So you are awesome. Thank you for being here. But I just wanted to say I think this really speaks to the capital we have.